Chico Resch. You are listening to the Let's Go Devils podcast on the Primetime Radio Network.
Happy Devils Saturday. This is Devils After Dark, coming to you live from the Primetime Radio studios inside the bunker in an undisclosed location in beautiful New Jersey. And Scotty's Michael J. Fox Studios in Beverly Hills, California. Streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, X Live, and Twitch on the Let's Go Devils Network as the Devils lose and shut out 1-0 by the bitter Turnpike South rivals, Philadelphia Flyers. Lots to talk about, Scotty. Little depressing, but I just want to say I'm not cranky today. I'm wide awake, and I'll try to be funny today.
All right.
Yeah.
Very nice. Yes, hello to everyone on YouTube and Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and Twitch and everywhere else. You can check out the Let's Go Devils podcast. It's Devils After Dark. Second to last one of the season as we hit game number 81 on the calendar today, and really not too much to talk about with this game. The Devils had a chance to play spoiler, to have some fun against one of their bitter rivals, as Sam was saying, and they fell a little bit flat. Against this Flyers team, getting shut out. Yeah, I said that correctly. Shut out against the Philadelphia Flyers. The team, and thank you, Captain Bill Spaulding, for pointing this out. The team that since January, the Flyers have given up the least amount of shots on goal, but the most goals allowed. If there was ever a team with the goaltending woes that may rival the New Jersey Devils this year, it's the Philadelphia Flyers, and we just got shut out by them. So, there you go. That pretty much sums it up right there. The Devils, I mean, they played okay, but the Flyers blocked 22 shots. They got in the lanes. The Devils' penalty kill did good. They killed off a 5-on-3 and another one from the Flyers. But the old poo-poo play came through once again with a shorthanded goal for Travis Konechny. And that was it. Kakkonen gave it a whirl. But Konechny comes in on a nice little backhand feed in the neutral zone across as the Flyers are breaking out. And, yeah, he beats Kakkonen, who's got a new cup, by the way. We've been informed. We've been confirmed. The new cup of Kakkonen. But beats him glove side there with the shorty. At, what was it? It was in the second period. Sometime or another in the second period. Where the hell is that right there? At 10:50 of the second period. So right about the halfway point of the game. Shorthanded goal. And that's all she wrote. It really is. The Devils got some good performances from Jesper Bratt, from Timo Meier, Nico Hischier. But again, the team that struggles to stop the puck the most in the league since January, the Devils can't get one goal past them. And a win here would have ended the Flyers season, and it would have been a nice, happy little participation trophy for this Devils team here at the end of the year. And they did not come through. Shots on goal for the Devils, 6-5-9 for a total of 20. The Flyers, 11-6-4 for a total of 21. Again, the Flyers had 22 block shots. The Devils had 9. Flyers, 30 hits to the Devils, 23. Power play, 0 for 1, and gives up a shorthanded goal. The Flyers were 0 for 3. So, again, PK does good. Devils have the slight advantage in the face-off circle, 22 wins, 220. But the Philadelphia faithful go home happy with their team now sitting in the second wild card position, although the Penguins are starting. I think the Penguins play in about 10 minutes. They start against Boston, and the Penguins do have, I think, 2 games in hand. Penguins right now are at 79, and the Flyers played 81. So after tonight, the Penguins will have 2 games in hand. We'll see what happens with the Flyers. But, yeah, looks like, the Islanders getting a point from the Rangers before. Looks like they're going to, find themselves in the playoffs. So, even when we thought we might have a little fun playing spoiler here at the end of the season...
Your idea. That was your idea, not mine.
I was trying to think of something at least. Jeez. And they go and get shut out by Harrison. Oh. And our poor friend Billy Dean, who was playing against Harrison in his fantasy league. Oh, sorry, buddy. The Devils could do you no favors.
Good.
So at least they did something against our Rangers fan, poor Billy Dean. Oh, we love old Billy. But, yeah, shutout against the Flyers. Like I said, the team with worse goaltending woes than the Devils. This season's been one for the ages, let me tell you. But, yeah, that's that. Yeah, Travis Green looks like that's because Travis Green is going to be out the door, Peter. In just a few days, he will be dismissed from that head coach position.
Good riddance.
And that's that. Yeah, that'll be all said and done there. And this Devils team is going to head into the offseason looking for answers for next year. And one piece of good news, Jumpin' Jack Flash, Gentleman Jack Hughes had a successful shoulder surgery, so that's good news, and hopefully he will be on the mend and be ready to go at the start of the next season in October. And oh yeah, just to add insult to injury to me, the Devils going to wear those stupid jerseys on Monday against the Islanders, so this will be the last time you see the red and black, as the Flyers wore their outdoor Stadium Series jerseys tonight, and so those were white, so the Devils got to wear their red jerseys on the road. It was like we're back in the early 90s there, Sam Woo. Home teams wearing the white jerseys and the road teams wearing the colors.
The olden days.
That's the olden days. Whatever. I don't know why they made that a mandate. I'd rather just have the teams pick, but either way, Devils lose 1-0. Happy Saturday! Yeah!
I got to tell you something, Scotty.
Okay.
Hand it to Bill Spaulding because it got me thinking what he said about the Flyers. What was that stat again? The goals against?
The least amount of shots given up, which you can see by how much they block tonight, and that's, John Tortorella written all over it. The least amount of shots given up, but the most goals allowed.
Okay. For all those fans all year long that said the Devils have goaltending problems, and we've been saying all along on the podcast that it's defense and goaltending. Now, recently the Devils, 2 goaltenders, late season acquisition. I'm not counting that right now. I rather have the Flyers problem than the problems that the Devils currently have right now. Because defense. The way the Flyers play defense allowed them to overachieve this season to the point where they're still relevant even now to possibly make it the playoffs. As bad on paper at the start of the season we thought they were. So John Tortorella along with Danny Briere and Keith Jones. I didn't think that Tortorella would actually get along with those two, but it seems like they have something good going in Philadelphia, because even if they don't make the playoffs, they've got some great rebuilding draft capital, and they're actually doing everything the right way. They made big trades to Provorov to Columbus, getting another team, that three-way, apparently my sources were telling me that Danny Briere knew the rules about the CBA better than the teams that were involved. I think it was the Kings. Was it the Kings, Blue Jackets, and the Flyers? They've got a great young GM there, and the Flyers, I'd watch out in the next 5 years, because I'm a little scared, because they're actually doing things the right way. But the Devils, let's put it this way. We know that the season's over, right? Season's over. They only gave up 1 goal, but it's not like the Flyers were scoring anyway down the stretch. They needed this win. Simon Nemec, that last play, I think that was just a rookie mistake, where he just flung it in desperation. He still had time. So, Dubs is like, Sam, Philly is not a good defensive team. They're just buying in and selling you out and blocking a ton of shots. That kind of contradicts yourself, Dubs is like.
That's good defense. Yeah.
That's good defense. That's what you want. You want your players to buy into a system. Doesn't matter what system it is. But if you can get all 20 guys on your team to buy into one system, it's going to be a good system. And you're going to have success. And, right now, the Devils, there's just not enough consistency. Like, I'm worried about this franchise right now. We go from, like, one extreme to the next. And if the Islanders make it to the playoffs, okay, and, I have no hope for this franchise as a whole, only because I do not believe the ownership group can put it together and help the fans win a championship here. I don't want to be doom and gloom, Scotty, but I hope I'm wrong, because Lou Lamoriello, as bad as his teams are, they still make the playoffs usually. And you got to make the playoffs. That should be a you shouldn't try to just miracle get that eighth spot. I know that there's been injuries. I know it's been a young defense. I know goaltending has been a problem. I think the good news is I think the Devils may have found the 1B in Jake Allen, but could they have found the 1C in Kokkonen? Because remember, goalies do get injured. And remember when the Devils gave up on Wedgwood and he was the 1C? Remember with the Mackenzie Blackwood and Bernier? And then suddenly Bernier and Blackwood went down and you didn't have the 1C, and the 1C was Wedgwood doing well elsewhere. So, I think there's some positives here, but I don't think Kokkonen's going to sign unless it's at the right price, which he won't. But at least they got Jake Allen. You've got 1 year of Nemec and Luke Hughes playing. Nemec played a lot of games this season. He wasn't even supposed to play that many or any at all. And where I'm going with this, Scotty, is there's a lot of question marks going into the offseason, what Tom Fitzgerald's going to do. You can't point fingers. The only fingers you can point is that Tom Fitzgerald himself. He made some moves. He didn't make some moves. He didn't push the right buttons. And or is this the growing pains of this young blue line that really need to speed up their development?
I think it's a little bit of that. I mean, I can't say that they're the complete opposite of last season. It's not like we're down in the, absolute tanks of the league. This Devils team, if they had gotten to maybe overtime, a couple more times, they would be right in the playoff hunt. You know.
And you make a great point there, because I never liked the whole system to begin with. That the Devils have the third most regulation wins in the Eastern Conference, I think, or the Metropolitan Division.
Yeah.
Whatever that is, and but again, everybody's playing by the same rules, so you can't really make that as an excuse. Again, I think the difference between this team, maybe in terms of points wise from last year, is that 13-game heater. That's 26 points right there. You add that to what they have right now, you're well in the playoffs.
Well, and we've talked about it ad nauseum, is this team could not run off more than a 3-game winning streak. They never got on that official heater to be able to pile up some points at a certain time to kind of stockpile them like they were able to do last year. And last year they got the timely goaltending. This year they did not for the majority of the year. We all know the struggles they went through, but with Jake Allen and Kakinen, it's been a lot better. Kakinen, he only gave up 1 goal tonight. And it was on a breakaway. So
yeah, and that's what decent goaltending gets you.
Yeah, you can't really point fingers right now at the Devils' goaltending because it's improved. I know in the rest of the season it was not, but I think this Devils defense it's showing improvement. Is it there yet? Absolutely not. They need to figure out what they're going to do with I can't see Luke or Nemitz going anywhere. So Siegenthaler, Kevin Ball, do they bring Smith back on a 1 or 2 year deal? I'm sure it won't cost them too much. You got Dougie Hamilton returning, but you need some more beef. I'm not sure if Siegs and Ball can provide that. You also need a top pairing defenseman. I feel like a lot of these guys are second, third pairings. And you can't roll like that. You just can't. You need a big, powerful first pairing defenseman that the Devils don't have. I just don't see Kevin Ball projecting that way. I can see Luke projecting that way, but he'll be a la more of the Dougie Hamilton type. You need more of the shot. Although I will say Luke has played a lot better defensively as this season has gone on. And again, as pointed out on the broadcast, I know he's like a minus 25 or something like that, but Luke has also been on the ice for 22 empty net goals. And we all know Lindy and Travis love to pull the old goalie with plenty of time left in there. So just keep that in mind when you're thinking about Luke Hughes. And of course, power play and special teams goals don't count. But either way, I see improvement there. But I think you got to really figure out, Siegs is a big boy, but he doesn't really bring that much of that physicality that you're getting. He had a couple of nice blocks today, and I can see him doing well as, maybe like a third line pairing. I think he would really excel.
Or a seventh defenseman.
Or a seventh defenseman. But you have a lot of guys that can play that role. And you don't have too many that can play on that top pairing, which is what you desperately need. So they really need to figure something out there, and they got to figure out the bottom 6. If you look at the top 6, you got 4 guys that are pushing 30 goals. With Bratt, Jack, even though he's out, Nico, Timo, and 3 of those 4 were injured for a good portion of the season. And Jesper Bratt is going to be over 80 points this year. He's already over 80 points. 27 goals, and what's he got, 54 assists now? Something like that. He's over 80 points. So Jesper Bratt, cool. Timo, he's at 27. Nico's at 27. Jack is at 27. You're thinking if these guys were healthy the entire year, definitely Timo and Jack probably pushing 40. Nico looks like if he was healthy the entire year, he would have been in the 30s range as well, which is where you would expect for Nico Hischier. So that top 6 looking pretty good, but the bottom 6 not too hot. What's Palat got? 11 goals, 12 goals, somewhere like that. Eric Hall has got 16. Should he have some more, being that he's been playing with Jack and Jesper throughout the entire year? Dawson Mercer, turned it on a little bit, but man, was he wildly inconsistent this year. And then you have the run of, different fourth liners coming in and out throughout this season. Obviously, he who shall not be named was having a career year, but poof, he is gone, and do not expect him to come back. Nate Bastian had a terrible half of the year, and then all of a sudden he started to turn it on, but then he got injured. Shane Bowers, Noshik, Big Mac brings what Big Mac brings. But you got a lot of guys that were just flipping in and out. Chris Tierney, Willman. It was just like a rotating door there on that third pairing. I mean, on that bottom 6. Holtze ended up getting buried most of the time. I know some people love him, some people hate him, but I'd rather see him playing in the top 6 and see what he can do. He's close to 20 goals, and he got buried for the majority of the year on that fourth line. And benched repeatedly. So they need to get themselves a coach that can motivate this team. And like we were just talking about, with Philly, a coach that can get all these guys to buy into the system. You got Jake Allen. I mean, you can try and go get Saros. But the goaltending has been good lately. That hasn't been the issue. They got to play better defense. They got to get more supplemental scoring from that bottom 6. And they got to stay healthy. No one ever knows if you're going to stay healthy. But it was just it was a bummer of the year with the health category. It sucks. It is what it is. It's not an excuse, but that's what it is. With the amount of injuries this team had, there's still 81 points? Not where we want to be, we know that. But it could have been a lot worse. Coach getting fired. Replacement coach not really doing that well afterwards, too. So,
you know what's the sad thing, Scotty? They had their chances, and they had a lot of help. They had a lot of help down the stretch. They just didn't take it. And it's a reality check. It's humbling because a lot of us thought last season was the breakout season, that this team is going to go for it. And, hey, as like I said 4 years ago, 2025. 2025 is right around the corner. But what went from one goaltender away, now we're one goaltender away, one stay-at-home defenseman away, fix the bottom 6 away from being a contender.
Yeah. They've got some work to do, and Fitzy's got to get to it. But Insane Pollock is right. They blew way too many dumb games. You're absolutely right. There were so many games on the schedule that they should have won. That should have been an automatic W, or at least get it into overtime so you could at least get that point. And they didn't do it. They didn't do it. I don't know how many times Sam has said it this season here on Devils After Dark. They play up to the good teams. and way down to the bad teams.
Did I really say that?
Oh, yeah. You
Well,
have.
Don't remember. So what do we have to look forward to? What are the Utica Comets going to be doing?
I don't think they're doing too much. I'm not sure.
I'm looking right now. The AHL standings.
Yeah, I'm not sure right now.
Because these young kids that are playing down there, they need to get the experience. They need to grow up in a hurry. You know.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, the Devils have made.
Oh, they're in last place.
Yeah, I didn't think they were doing very good.
Oh yeah, sorry. All right, well, never mind that statement.
I think they really need to be careful with the trades and everything like that. Just be careful, because we've had for the last 5 years we were talking about all these prospects, and they're basically, the majority of them are gone now. And we got Timo, but that was a big haul. And you see Zetterlund doing well. You see Ahoytuk doing well. Who knows what the hell is going to happen with Muhammad Doolin. Blackwood, I was done with Blackwood. I was ready for him to go. And I think everyone, that was just a move that needed to be made. I feel like he needed to start over. It wasn't going to happen here in New Jersey. He had a couple of good, games, but he was so wildly inconsistent. So fine with that, but you lose Zetterlund, you lose Ahoytuk, who's beef on the defense. Zetterlund is a tough customer as a forward. You lose Sharon Govich for Toffoli, which we were all like, oh, that's a great deal. That's a great deal. But look at where it ended up.
Hey, you better look at that.
Woo! Ooh, John, all right. Wow. Hey,
wow.
Now, Super Chat. Sponsored by Hand Crew Brew. There we go.
Where we make winning memories together, one brew at a time.
One brew at a time. Because after this season, I think you're going to need a couple brews, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, kegs. We're selling
might need
kegs now.
Might need a keg stand on Monday night to finish off the season.
Yeah. American Whiskey's like, what are we doing with all these kegs? Yeah, well, we'll start moving it, drown our sorrows away for those winning memories.
Do some summer meetups and see what we can get going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that the team needs to be careful with some of these trades. I see everyone, package Holtz. Well, they packaged Sharon Govich, and look, he's got a 30-goal season.
Do you want to
look at Zetterlund? Look at.
Go ahead.
What's that? What do I want to know?
No. You finish, and then I'll tell you what I'm going to do.
There is another one in St. Pollock hit. Holtz and Mercer. That could be. That can have really, really huge ramifications. You trade those two guys. And I don't know. I don't know if that's the way to go. Holtzy's got a wicked shot. I've definitely seen improvement from him on the ice this year from last year. Hopefully next year he'll be even better. I don't know. I'm just not. Whoa! Woo! Rick Robitaille. Woo! Another super chat. Thank you, everybody.
I'm going to answer your question a little bit later, NY Davey.
Okay.
But I wanted to get to my point, what I would do if I was Tom Fitzgerald, if you don't mind, in my dream world.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm just going to say, just to finish up again, I think that the Devils should be very, very careful with who they trade. Because that well is running dry down there, where it used to be just overflowing. There's not too much left. down in the old prospect pool.
Where did they all go,
Foot.
Scotty? Did they all graduate?
They went all in trades. But you got Foot, Clark, Casey. You got this Cam Squires kid who's probably not really going to be close to the NHL by next season. You got a few here and there, but it's not stacked like it was 2-3 years ago. Go ahead, Sam. Sorry.
Now PD28 is kind of trolling me right now. Except that Sam thinks the Devils can acquire Brady Tkachuk and Saros next year on Devils terms. But look, if I was Tom Fitzgerald right now, there's two ways you can look at this team. They're not that far off, or they need to make a splash. You should be targeted. You should aim high. Aim high, Scotty. Brady Tkachuk, Saros, or any other goaltender should be on your radar. And maybe Zadarov. You need to make a splash this summer, in my opinion. And I understand about Alexander Holtz because I feel the same way. But if you're going to trade Alexander Holtz, it's got to be somebody good. It has to be somebody good. It has to be a game changer. Because right now, the Devils Jack Hughes, I hate to break it to everybody. I like Jack Hughes, but he's too fragile. He's getting hurt a lot. This is why I wanted to draft Logan Cooley. Because back in the day, we thought down the middle the Devils were solid, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Right now, I don't think they're that solid down the middle. Because I don't think Jack Hughes has not shown he can, other than maybe one season, he can play a whole season. But, and Nico Hischier does get hurt. And the player that we can't talk about is no longer here forever, pretty much. So who does that leave you with? Holla, Dawson Mercer? Dawson Mercer doesn't even play center too often anymore. So, I don't know, Scotty. This is a very confusing what to do.
It's a tough one, and that's why they pay Fitzy the big bucks. But, there's going to be a lot of names thrown out there. I'm not, just in general, I can't see why the Ottawa Senators would want to trade Brady Tkachuk. But if that did happen, it would cost a lot. And again, then I come back to my point here of you've run the well completely dry. And I just don't know. Would I love to get him? Yeah. Who wouldn't like to have a player like that on their team? But
what has the well produced, though? Are they really producing?
Well, it produced a 30-goal scorer for Calgary and produced a near 30-goal scorer for San Jose.
Then maybe the first
thing,
thing,
shutdown defenseman for them.
First thing is a new coach. That should be the first step, a new coach, because you got the draft coming up, you got free agency right afterwards. That's where it starts.
And John L. says Brady Tkachuk's not happy in Ottawa. He's frustrated because he wants to win. Yeah, I mean, you could see that. But he's under contract for hell's bells. I'd have to look it up right now on Cap Friendly to see what his numbers are. But I'm just saying, like, if I was Ottawa, why would I want to trade, a franchise player like that?
I just banned Petey for about 24 hours. He's just pissing me off.
Let me see here. Teams. Let's go down to the old Ottawa Senators and let's take a look on our Cap Friendly over here. And where is Mr. Kachuk? There he is. 5 years at, holy hell, at 8.2. Woof.
8.2 million a year.
8.2 million a year for the next 5 years. Now again, he's only 24 years old.
And it fits the salary cap culture for Tom Fitzgerald. You know what I mean? It's still within range.
Yeah.
But the cap's going to go up.
If you get Brady Kachuk, though, I think you're basically kissing Jesper Bratt goodbye.
Well, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Do you want it? I mean, is that Bratt has been? I don't know. I saw the body check that Jesper Bratt threw at the end of like a minute-long shift today when he was getting back on defense. Is there a reason why we call Bratt?
This is
Bratt the
nothing against
brutalizer as well.
The Devils don't need more Bratt. They need more Kachuk. That's the point I'm trying to make. There's too many Jesper Bratts on this team. Very finesse, hard skater, all that kind of stuff. He's a great player. Don't get me wrong. But if somebody wants out of Ottawa and you've got Jesper Bratt, his stock is high right now. You got a lock long term. Although he probably has a no movement clause. He's got to have one. I have to check that. But again, you need a player right now that not only complements, but just absolute game changer. The Devils don't hit. The Devils simply don't hit. They can feed off the energy of Brady Kachuk. Do the Devils feed off the energy of Jesper Bratt? Like they would of a Brady Kachuk?
I think they do feed off the energy of Jesper Bratt. It's just a different type of energy. But I think if you're going to... Stephen Engel, I get it. Heischer, Bratt, Meyer, Hughes, not going anywhere. One of those guys you're going to have to get rid of to make it work with the salary. Unless you're going to somehow peel off Dougie Hamilton to somebody. And then I don't know what this defense is going to look like. Not that Dougie was always the defensive defenseman.
Is he really coming back next season?
Yeah, he's
start of camp. How long do those injuries take to recover?
Torn bicep. He should be. He probably, if they were in contention, I wouldn't be surprised that he wasn't getting ready. If they were going to make the playoffs, the Devils would be circumventing the cap come playoff season.
Yeah,
100% by bringing Dougie Hamilton back. This is just there's no need to rush him type of move for this team. But he had that surgery, in January? He'll be back by the start of next season. Yeah. But Dougie Hamilton's also got a $9 million contract. But you lose Dougie. It's a lot of points coming off the board. We saw it this year. 70 points. 70 points off the board, but you get a huge amount of space, contract, salary cap wise. I don't know if you could move Doug. I'd have to look to see. In St. Pollock, like every team in the Western Conference is about to do, except for the Nashville Predators. Every team in the playoffs in the West will be over the salary cap for the playoffs, except for the Preds. That's it. Every single team. So if everyone's doing it, why the hell not? Until the league, I'm sure as soon as the Devils do it, then they'll make a rule and somehow fine us for like the next 10 years or something like that. I'm sure Bettman will figure out a way. He's just kind of waiting for the Devils to try and do this.
He'll give the Devils the death penalty.
Yeah, that's when the fines will start coming down and all the the penalties will happen. There's another one. Palat.
Can you move his contract?
They're gonna have to eat a good portion of it, but let's get real. We're paying for what he did in Tampa Bay. because what he's doing in here in Jersey is just hasn't been up to a $6 million salary. If he was making 2 or 3, okay, I could see that. But $6 million a year, or what was it, 6 years or 5 years? I can't remember how long I closed out of the cap friendly here. I mean, that's another one too. You could look at. Is there a way that they move him? I don't know. Could they move him to Ottawa?
Could they put him on waivers to Utica and just bury that salary there? Like the good old days of Lou Lamoriello?
But, I mean, maybe, I don't know, maybe they can move him up there, and I don't know why Ottawa would want him, but, I mean, he's a good veteran presence for a young team. But that could be sort of a salary flip-flop over there. But, it's tough. It's really tough. Would it be great to make a splash for someone like a Brady Tkachuk? Absolutely. But it's going to cost a lot.
It's going to cost you an elite player and draft capital.
Yeah.
If you had to pick the 4 elite players on the Devils, that core 4 up front, Bratt, Hughes, Nico Hischier, and Timo Meier, who would you trade? Who's the most trade? It's Bratt.
Unfortunately, yeah.
But you replace him with Brady Tkachuk. Changes the whole dynamics.
It does. It does. But also, I do feel like Jesper Bratt is a player that makes the guys around him a lot better. And we've seen plenty of people go through slumps and they get moved to a line with Jesper Bratt and all of a sudden they break out. So it's tough, dude. It's a really, really tough one to think through. It would obviously it would be a nice move, but you're going to have to find the salary. And, man, really that Palat contract is just a killer right now. It really is.
Can we flip him to Tampa?
You flip him back to Tampa?
Yeah. And we'll just you take on his salary since you're good with this. Obviously the Devils aren't good with the circumventing the cap right now. So
they could just sit. They can sit him out the whole season, and then when the playoffs come, they'll just put him into the lineup. Just skate with the team and practice and get ready for the playoffs. We'll just circumvent the cap. Let me look here just real quick on the old cap friendly one last time. About where is it? Palat. $6 million through 26-27. Ay. But let's look at this here. Shane Bowers, are you bringing him back? I don't know. Chris Tierney, you bringing him back? I don't know. Tomas Nosek, are you bringing him back? I don't know. Curtis Lazar. I like Curtis. Oh, he's got one more year. And he's insanely cheap at $1 million. Hall has got another 3 years. But again, Hall is making $3 million. If Palat was making $3 million, I don't know. I think it might be a different story. But you got Timo at 8.8, Jack at 8, Jesper at 7.8, Nico at 7.2, and then Palat at $6 million. Which one of these does not belong here? On your defense, we got John Marino is steady at 4.4. Siegs is 3.4. Brendan Smith is 1.1. Kevin Ball is $1 million for the next then he's a RFA after next season. Big Mac is making less than $1 million. You got another year of Luke and Nemitz under $1 million, then they're going to need a raise. Nick DeSimone. Hey, he really he hasn't played terribly. Do you bring him back or Brendan Smith? You're also going to get a little bit of oh man. Oh yeah. Kakinen he's only 2.75 because he came in that trade. So yeah, you're not really gaining a lot there. And then yeah, you got Tanev and Toffoli. So you gain 3 million, 3.25 there after this season. So Fitzy's got a little bit of wiggle room. You also get 2.3 back from the Kuokkanen and Corey Schneider. So that's like $5.5 million right there. And then plus Kakinen coming off. But if you're going to go out and get a Saros, that's it's going to be another $6 million. And plus Dougie's got to come back on. That $9 million from Dougie has got to get back on the salary as well. So it's going to be an interesting offseason to see what they do. But I can see a lot of guys here not getting re-signed. But, man, that one that sticks out harsh is that Palat contract at $6 million per. That's just that's a tough one. Because just imagine, okay, you had a top six of Nico, Timo, and Jesper, and then you had a second line of Haula, Kachuk, and Jack. That's lethal right there. But you got Palat, that's $6 million, which is getting on a third line.
You know what it's going to take, Scotty? It's going to take a three-team trade to get Kachuk out of Ottawa. The Devils need to find like a team like Arizona or Utah, whatever you want to call it.
You mean Salt Lake City, buddy. Salt Lake City.
One of these teams that have salary cap space looking for, to help facilitate this trade. But because they need to get Palat's number off the book somehow.
It's really the big eyesore here when you're looking at like cap friendly. And you know what? I'm an idiot. I just closed out. Let me open it back up again. I just want to see here. Palat, damn it. He's got a no movement clause. So I guess that's I'm not sure if that's no move clause starting July 1st, 2025. The player submits a 10-team trade list. So I guess they still have time. Starting July 1, 2025. That mean after that he can get deny trades if they're not from the 10-team trade list?
I think everybody's on the table. What about Mercer?
He's a restricted free agent after this year, right? Yeah. This is it.
Ramona's gone wild in the chat.
What happened?
I don't know. She says that the Devils really need to trade Bratt so Sam can shut up.
Oh boy!
But then also another Twitter account would be shutting up too. But
Well, I don't know. I mean, to me, the eyesore here is the Palat contract. If it was like Halla's deal, wouldn't be that bad. But yeah, I totally forgot all that money I was talking about coming off, and that's going to get immediately replaced with Dougie Hamilton and his $9 million salary. And even with all the defensive woes, do you try and move a Dougie? And we also talked about, the leadership that you can see was missing with Dougie Hamilton not being on the team this year, being hurt as that big brother who's been through a lot of this stuff already for these young guys who are really learning on the fly. He talked about all the game winners he had last year, the 70-plus points. But, when you see Dougie score one of those and he starts doing his that whole team is out there with him. So, good luck, Fitzy. You got a lot on your shoulders this offseason. A goalie, a solid head coach with a good system that's going to work for this team. And you got to figure out that bottom six and this defense.
I'm watching this video. There's a vicious fan fight from the game today.
Where? In Philly?
Yeah, Barstool Philly has a video out. I'm just watching it right now. I wonder if I should pull it up. Wow, it's vicious. It is vicious. Yeah, fans falling all over the place, punches thrown. Wow.
Well, we're going to see what's going to happen. I really don't know, except to say that I think it would take a lot to get a Brady Tkachuk. Would it make this team better? Probably. But, yeah, it's going to take a lot to do that. And you got to look at how they're going to be able to fit these guys in underneath the salary cap. So,
yeah,
we shall see. It's going to be an interesting offseason. But the first thing, you got to get a coach. And it's got to be the right coach, too. Sam Woo for head coach of the New Jersey Devils.
I do better than Travis Green. They wouldn't be blowing so many leads.
Oh, man.
It's
gonna be an interesting offseason. It really is. Because there's gonna be a lot of moves made that I don't think a lot of us were expecting. But it's gotta happen.
I wonder sometimes, Scotty, I'm a little worried about this upcoming offseason. I'll tell you the reason why. I'm wondering if ownership group says no mas, meaning cutting costs.
I don't know. They already got all these contracts on there anyway, so they're all long term. So
yeah, no, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like not do anything, taking more.
I don't think so. I think that would be the worst thing possible if they don't do anything, because you're going to see fans. Fans are already upset with the way this team performed. The expectations were high after
Harris
last year.
and Blitzer don't care about the fans, though, Scotty. There's a big difference.
Oh, they'll care when the fans stop showing up, and the building is not filled, and no one's paying for those $16 beers in the concession stands and everything like that. So you hit them where in the pocket. Devils have the most nights in that arena. out of everything. I know they have concerts and wrestling and monster truck jams and whatever, college basketball, but the ones that have the most nights are the New Jersey Devils. And you get a lot of fans in that arena, and the fans were great this year. The fans were great. I mean, I wasn't there, for the majority of the games because I'm out here in LA, but from what I can see on TV, it looked like attendance was up this year.
I'm curious.
You didn't see all the patches of empty seats everywhere like you used to.
Do you know what I'm curious to know? How much they're banking on that MSG contract they just signed. Or apparently that was prepared last year.
I have no idea. I just wish they didn't have to do with the MSG stuff. But either way, it's going to be an interesting offseason. There's going to be a lot for us to talk about. So we'll see how it all plays out. We still got one more game to go against the old Icelanders on Monday. One more Devils After Dark for the 23-24 season before we go into off-season mode. But tomorrow night, though, I'm sure Shorts Guy and Beer Baron are going to have all of their opinions on the matter. And if you know our friend Beer Baron, tarps might come off. Tarps might come off Sunday night.
It just might.
They just might.
Just
We've
might.
seen it happen before. Tarps off, hell raised. So come on back tomorrow night. We'll see what those knuckleheads have in store for us. And we'll be back again on Monday for the final Devils After Dark of this season. Thank you so much, everyone. I'm going to turn it over to Sam Woo for the final goodbyes.
Yeah, thank you to all those tuning in. Also, thank you to Rick Robitaille and John M. for the super chats. We'll be back tomorrow for the Sunday edition of the Let's Go Devils podcast, 9 p.m. Eastern. And obviously, Game Day Live and Devils After Dark at American Whiskey on Monday for the season finale. Thank you. Till next time, let's go Devils.